In today's episode, we bring you another 3 highlights from space exploration. The first 2 topics revolve around the launches of SpaceX's Falcon 9 rockets. First, we'll delve into the Shared Transporter 9 mission. The second topic covers the launch of 2 communication satellites, O3B mPOWER. Lastly, we'll revisit the installation of RS-25 engines into the core stage of the SLS rocket. On November 11th at 1848 Universal Time, the Falcon 9 rocket embarked on its next mission. The launch took place from Launchpad SLC-4E at Vandenberg Space Force Base in California.
And liftoff of SpaceX Transporter 9. Go Transporter, go SpaceX.
Vehicle touching downrange.
Since the payload wasn't too heavy and didn't require a high orbit, the first stage successfully returned to land. This marked the 12th landing for this particular first stage. The upper stage delivered a total of 113 small payloads from various customers. The largest portion of the payload consisted of 36 Super Dove satellites from Planet Lab. Additionally, there was a 90-kilogram heavy ICE-YE satellite designed for Earth radar imaging. About an hour after launch, individual satellites began detaching from the upper stage. However, not all satellites disconnected directly. Some small satellites were housed within larger ones, known as orbital tugs. After detaching from the upper stage, these tugs can move to a different orbit and release the small satellites. This mission saw the debut of the Mira orbital tug from Impulse Space, founded by Tom Mueller, who was also involved in the early days of SpaceX. On November 12th at 21:08 Universal Time, SpaceX achieved its 83rd launch of the year. Falcon 9 lifted off from pad SLC-40 at Cape Canaveral Space Force Station. This mission reused the first stage for the 9th time, with another attempted landing on the drone ship, a shortfall of gravitas, waiting approximately 685 kilometers from the launch site. Under the Falcon 9's aerodynamic fairing were 2 O3B mPOWER satellites from SES. This company operates a vast fleet of telecommunication satellites in geostationary orbit. The O3B mPOWER system is also designed for communication, but in a different orbit. The working orbit for these satellites will be a medium Earth orbit at an altitude of 8,060 kilometers. Interestingly, these satellites orbit directly over the equator, enabling their communication signals to reach up to the 62nd parallel north or south. This coverage includes areas where the majority of the world's population resides. In this case, it was already the 3rd launch where the Falcon 9 rocket was utilized for building this satellite network. The first pair of satellites was launched last December, followed by the second in April of this year. The plan includes a total of 5 missions, with the first 4 carrying 2 satellites each. The 5th mission, scheduled for 2024, is expected to carry 3 satellites. Due to technical issues with some initial satellites, a 6th mission was added, set to launch in 2026. Few weeks ago, we covered the progress in preparing the core stage of the SLS rocket for the Artemis II mission. At that time, only photos of the installation of the 4 RS-25 rocket engines were available. Now, with NASA releasing a successful video of the entire process, let's revisit this topic. This core stage is destined for the SLS rocket, set to embark on the Artemis II mission. This will be a crewed test mission to validate all onboard systems of the Orion spacecraft. 4 astronauts will experience a flyby of the moon, marking the first time humans have ventured towards the moon in half a century.
Micro, easy up in micro.
Orion, however, wouldn't reach the moon without the SLS rocket, and the core stage forms its foundational backbone. It measures 65 meters in length with a diameter of 8.5 meters. Within its structure are primarily 2 massive tanks, one with a volume of 740,000 liters for liquid oxygen, and the other, even larger, with a volume of 2 million liters for liquid hydrogen. These cryogenic propellants will be burned by the quartet of RS-25 rocket engines, all originating from the era of the Space Shuttle program. One of these engines, with serial number 2047, flew on 15 missions. The RS-25 engines were first secured in place. In the following weeks, engineers will meticulously complete their connections to the rocket's engine section, carefully linking not only electrical cables, but also all propellant system plumbing. According to official information, the SLS rocket is expected to launch for the Artemis II mission by the end of 2024. However, this date is highly unlikely according to available information. Therefore, the first crewed launch in the Artemis program is anticipated in 2025. Thank you for your attention to today's episode of Spaceflight News. We are delighted in your interest in space news, and to ensure you do not miss future episodes, kindly consider subscribing to our channel. Additionally, you can find other interesting news on our profile on social network X, formerly known as Twitter. The link can be found in the video description.